sivumele ba usilile xa usithuthuzela kodwa uphinde usivumele into yoba siyamkele intando yakho uba ukuba ungavumanga ngengenzekanga yonke le nto sikuyo apha namhlanje. Sikelela ke ngoko elibandla lelapha namhlanje ngokulithuthuzela. Sikelela ifamily yonke yakaTimothy qalela kwi-conference ebekuyo, sikelele nebandla ebekhonza kulo, sikelele ne-district ebekhonza kuyo, usikelele nekhaya ebezalwa kulo kuba ube engumntu onamakhaya amaninzi. Enkosi bawo ngokusipha yena, enkosi ngokusiboleka yena. Sinike ke ngoko ingqondo enzulu yokuba sifunde kwincwadi ebeyibhala uTimothy, samkele izinto obusifundisa zona ngaye ukwenzela into yoba ekuziphileni kwethu sibe nesidima esingumangaliso. Kwanga ke bawo njengoba simbeka ngoku kwakugqabukisa ibhakabhaka, uyakuvuma into yokuba nathi siphinde simbone kwakhona. Enkosi bawo ngokusithanda, enkosi bawo ngokusikhusela kude siyofika apha, enkosi bawo nangale nkonzo sikuyo. Yisikelele ke ngokuyithamsanqelisa ukwenzela uba kuvuleke iingqondo zethu, zamkele oko ofuna sikuve ngale nto yokulala kwenkosini enkokeli yethu. Siyabulela ke uba siyakuthanda zaKwesu Kristu konke siyakucela. Amen.
Sibonga kakhulu Babu ngamagama asamukelayo. Iqiniso sidabukile, sizobuhlungu. Jiyana sizobonga emswaneni. Inkosi imqinise. Inkosi imqinise. Ubenzima ngempela. Babekade sixoxisana phakathi kweviki. Kusukela masithola leqhawe. Kulesimo ebekade likusona. Cause trauma, heartache, nayo yonke into ongayicabanga uma indoda eyi-firstborn ekhayeni insika lapho nincika khona ishabalala. Ukushabalala kwayo makungashabalalisi namathemba. Bambane enkosini niqine ngoba masinyane isibhakabhaka saseMpumalanga sizofika ukhale amaqilongo bese ke amamele bese uyesabela asazi ukuthi thina nani sobe sikuphi ekuhambeni kwalosuku nalohlelo. Ngizonikeza amazubela highlights zengxoxo nempilo yakhe ekugcineni. Ngizothanda ukwazi ukuthi le ndoda isimeme kuphi, bese kuqinisa mina njengomndeni, bese ibandla nalo libone ukuthi ngempela akwehlanga ingehliyo izinsuku isitokolothemba amathunzi ayewukela. Qinani bafana, kunzima. Le ndoda ke ishona ngomhla ka-20 noma itholakala ngomhla ka-24 February Njikalala in the afternoon, a day which happens to be a day upon which we commemorate the events of Bloemfontein session 24 February 2013. Besiqeda kahle iminyaka ewu-8. Siphethe impi eseceleni. Besibheke ukuthi masiqala on the morning of the 24th. Ukuthi uma ngibheka izinkulumo zethu kuma WhatsApp and other social media platforms. Besibheke ukuthi leSabatha sizothi lapho sikhonza khona ezindaweni ezihlukene. Sikubalule lokho ukuthi inkosi isipha amandla yasiqinisa phakathi kwezivunguvumu sema. Leqhawe ke ingxenye yalempi esilwini yaba isihlabana yagwasa kuthi uma seyiqedile yaphonsela induku ebandla yenzela ukuthi amavaba aqine aqonde ukuthi uma isoja liphuma lilwa lithembeka kanjani empini yabo. Impilo kaTimothy ekugcineni ibenzini yakhe because impi ayilwile from 2013 up until izolo mayitholakala cost him dearly. It cost him friendship. It took away his family because he was forever away from home. Benginaye lokho enkushoyo ngiyakwazi. Le ndoda ngihamba nayo from 1970 uma ifika ingithola ecollege yalala kule gumbi ngalala ngala ngayithanda isibukubukwani nje ihamba nomfu Emmanuel Matutu kanti kuzoqalela lapho ejeni ezogcina izolo. Soke nizozwisisa ukuthi ngikhuluma lapha ngeqhawe engilaziyo. Uthi umndeni umucela ukuthi ngime lapha namuhla ngihambise lo hlelo. Yenze njalo ngoba uzoloku usinikeza amazubela endlela enihambile. Ukuze incwadi yale ndoda uma ibhaleka kube khona zonke izinto zayo. Enginganishiya nabo kule ngxenye yamanje ukuthi inesibindi, iqhawe, straight talk. Awuhlukani naye ungazi ukuthi ucabangani ngaye noma ucabanga njani ngawe. Ibikade njalo ke le ndoda. Manje kuzoba nezikhulumi zizongena lapha lezikhulumi ngizoseshenqa mina lapha zona zikhulume ngokulandelana kwazo. Ngiyacela ukuthi ukufika kwazo lapha ziziphathe njengabantu aba-international ngenxa yokuthi lo msebenzi is broadcast live. So silungise kahle, ufike ume kahle, ungadonsi, khuluma amagama amafupi, uhambe uyohlala phansi nesizotha. Umama Afrika unendaba afanele asixoxele yona. Ngizomcela ukuthi evesondela lapha ngaphambili. Umama Afrika uzoba nendaba asixoxela yona, naye uzoyifinqa ukuze kungene bonke kahle. Umama Afrika uzothi angakhuluma bese ngidedela umfundisi uMula ukuthi asinikeze amagama ambalwa nemizuzu embalwa. Manje bayazi phesheya, bayazi nalapha eSouth Africa ukuthi isikhathi enikezwe sona i3 minutes sokukhuluma. Niqede konke nifuna ukusho ngale 3 minutes. Beka umzekelo omuhle ma.
Angibingele ibandla likaNkulunkulu ngelihle igama lenkosi nomfeki wethu Jesu Kristu. Nisekhona bandla? Okay. Ngicela ukuthi ngifingqe. I wish I could do that. Ngoba ngimfishane kodwa abantu abafishane they tend to be very long. Ngizozama ukuthi ngifingqe kodwa kuningi ebengingakusho. Engikuzuzile engiphile naye ubrother Jiyana kulesikhathi lesi kusukela last year umehlala laphayana ePhinville. Bathandekayo ngifuna ukuthi si revisit Revelation chapter 3, the Laodicean church, because that is exactly what we are. We are neither hot nor cold. We think we are rich and yet we are poor. Sicabanga ukuthi sigqokile kanti size, and we are blind spiritually. We must revisit that and revisit the prophecy yethu unto 2,300 days. Sibone ukuthi sikude kangakanani nokuya kukaJesu Kristu. Because we've been reciting, knowing these things, as was to apply and cannot apply. There is no more time. And I thank God for Brother Timothy because he realized that kulesikhathi sihlangene naye. Njengoba isimene ngifike kuso. Phezu kwetafula lapho behleli khona, bekevule iBhayibheli ephethe nesifundo. He fellowshipped. Nina manikhile ibandla ninga fellowship. He was fellowshipping. Last quarter and the quarter, kusho ukuthi the third and the fourth quarter, ube nesabelo senkonzo yesidlo when nina lock it down. Angazi ukuthi ukuphi umehluko phakathi kwesikhathi esiphilo uDaniel eseBabylon. Uma bebenze umfanekiso kuthiwe bakhothamele leyo mfanekiso wangawukhothamela wathandaza ebheke empumalanga ebheke eJerusalem lapha ekhona ethandaza. Thina ababusi bethu mabethi bow, we bow, we look down. uDaniel didn't bow. Ngiyabonga umzalwane omkhonza uTimothy umxoxele ukuthi bekefike eBethel wawuyibhoza uyisikhulu ubagwajisa bakubambele itrunk besithi bhawu besithanda ukwenza amahlaya ngaleyo nto leyo. Namhlanje sibhawisa ababusi bethu abanganambono abayenza izinto zikaSathane. Ukhulume kakhulu ngamadodana akhe. I don't know them. Ubalisile kakhulu ku family altar besinayo besihlangana naye every evening. Sibe ne family altar lapha eAfrica sifunde nesifundo. Isilesinye one day nje ikinda ibe yinde ngoba besihlaziya. So bese siba number special request acelele amadodana wakhe akhulele enkonzweni kodwa angasawaboni ehamba kahle. Sifake nathi yethu indodana sitshaba Africa. Ukhulume kakhulu ngoSipho. I don't know him. Ngizocela ukuthi ngimbone ngimazi. Wakhuluma nomunye ngaphandle kwaSipho. Akakhulumanga ngoSiphesihle. Khulume ngalabo ababili. He was very concerned. Ngicela abantwana bami nibuyele enkosini. Time is no more. Uma ngabe investigative judgment yaqala ngo-1844 nge-22 ka-October, what time is it now? Utsho uNkulunkulu ibandla lakhe will be given a sign uma kwenzakala izinto. IJerusalem mayizohlasela, God gave them a sign. Bazungezwa amasotsha seRoma anga-attack a-withdraw. God has given us a sign. You go and research futhi ku spirit of prophecy. Uthi uNkulunkulu when the Sunday law, it's gazetted, then you must be out of the big cities. As full, as laleli. That's why atunkulunkulu sicabanga ukuthi we know sinamehlo kodwa asiboni sinezindlebe futhi asizwa. That is going to happen anytime from today. Anytime. Yonke into up. Yonke into set up. Research singabi stereotyped. Sibheke nje izinto ezisenkonzweni and the programs. Okay baba. Programs singabuyeli emfundisweni zethu. Isikhathi siphelile. Ngicela ukuthi ngibatshele before sinqamule isikhathi ngoba uTimothy utholwe yini endlini. Ngiyamfonela. Usually uye return back makuyimiss call. Angareturn. Kube amalanga ambalwa bese ngibawarrange ngoba every day uyeza emkhulekeni angezi. Ngithi mhlawumbe ubambe ivulo. Monday ngingaphumeleli ukuyomhlola. Tuesday ngingaphumeleli ukuyomhlola ngoba ngine-Bible study. Monday isine community meeting. Wednesday mangifona futhi iringa angaphenduli. Ngithi angiyomhlola. Mangiyomhlola ngithola kukhiwe ngivula igate nginoke eback door. Ukhiwe. Nginoke iwindow lisefasitereni. Ngimmemeze Jesus, no reply. Ngiye front ngiringe ifoni ngifone iringe ngaphakathi. Ngithi it's unlike him ukuthi ifoni angayishiya nangabe uhambile. And it's unlike him ukuthi angahamba angasitshelanga. Ngibe worried bese ngiye next door, umzose next door. Ngitshela umama wakhona anginike insizwa nje esencane ukuthi sibuyele ekhaya endlini. Sizungeze. Umfana ngitshela ukuthi hayi ibedroom alala kuyo ilengane. Siround indlu siyonokhe efasitereni. Simmemeze. Ifasitero belivule kancane le-curtains. Siqhelisa i-curtain. Masithi sithole ukuthi embhedeni ku-empty. Ngithi mina ngithuli ngithi or uwele phansi or uwele ebathroom makaye ebathroom mhlawumbe. Sibuyele front athi lo mfana phone ngifone iringi ngize ngicime. Silumuze nase front kuvuliwe iwindow masithi simbone ukuthi ulele phansi lapha. I thank God ukuthi uye waba nobuhlakani ukuthi ifoni le ngabe kulamalanga mhlawumbe ize yaqima ibhetri but ubeyibeke etafuleni ayifake ku charge. That's why iloke ringa all the time kodwa ngakwazi ukuphendula. So utholakale ewe elele lapho phansi ebeke ikomishi lapha ne-side plate ngiyabona bekuyadla i-breakfast. I don't know ukuthi wenini ngasiphi isikhathi. So kuleyo confusion I had to phone i-emergency yala South Africa. Confusion yami kufanele ngifonele i-1011 kodwa mina ngifonele i-911. I was so confused but ngalithola uncedo ngayibiza i-ambulance. So mangibatshela isimo bathi kimi angeke bakwazi ukuvula bayeza kodwa angeke bakwazi ukuvula nabekhiyiwe. Makukhiyiwe ngifonela amaphoyisa ngathi hayi nawo sengiwafonela. So afikile ka amaphoyisa nama-paramedics kodwa nofani indodana yakule mzi ahlala kuwo ebisifikile kwase kufika nobani base bayavula indeed bamcertify deep. Ithi ngichaphazele nje isimo bekasakuso uplant uTimothy makekhuluma mongamjwayelanga ungahetheka unamahlaya sometimes ashayayo kakhulu but he was close to God ulamalanga lawo ukugcina indlela besikuyo. We were praying for the latter rain besikuleso state leso. uNkulunkulu ngathi anganibusisa abantu isikhathi asekho ilatter rain ingathelwa anytime. Let us be ready. uNkulunkulu anibusise. Amen.
Sanibonani bantu. Sibonga ithuba esiphiwa lona njengikhulumi. Sibonga amandla kaNkulunkulu. Mhlobo esithandekayo angikuningi engizokhuluma ngoba Jiyana because ubaba Jiyana ulele into engiyaziyo ukuthi yes olela sleep. And then into engayisho ukukhuluma nabaphilayo ukuthi ubaba Jiyana ngingamjwayela kakhulu mangisuka la bengisebenzela khona. So I'm the first person who wanted to talk about Jiyana from esibhedlela eBabu esedischajiwe inyawo lakhe bengazi ukuthi uhlala kuphi. So mangifika esibhedlela then abengina transport I took Babu Jiyana baba nosambo on direct ngaze ngafika endlini and ngamdrop. So I'm also the person oyowahamba khona ku-incident beyenzekile mayezolala ubuthongo bokufa. Bengisuka because some of my churches abavala ngoba worship, so I was from another church. So ngathi ngizovala isabatha ePimville around 4 o'clock. So I spoke with him at the last, and then athi ngimuyise endlini ngithi ngitshafile ngihamba nabantwana. So ke ngathi umama Africa uzokuthatha. So was what to do umama Africa. So when he fall asleep, and then I was called in and then so I had to drive ngamthola ngempela ukuthi ulele ukuthombo kufa. So mangithi ulele ngempela until yonke ifika ihesh simthathe simhambise ngehesh. Ulele, what I want to say ku family nebandla ilamagama atholakala kuGenesis chapter 2 verse 17. But you must never eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because when you eat from it, you will surely die. So what I want to say to the churches and the family, how are we going to die? No one knows. God never explained how are we going to die. Singabulawa extent, singabulawa ukula, singabulawa anything. That one it has never been explained. But what remains is that we shall surely die. So let's allow Babu Jiyana ulele uthombo kufa until the morning. May the Lord bless. Amen.
I'm standing before you is Uthandiwe, Jiyana, Babamkhulu's daughter. You know how we are in the black culture. You can't say that's my uncle. No. But Babamkhulu, right? Sure. Babamkhulu, he once mentioned to my mom, actually, when it's his turn to rest, can people not stand here in front of his family and friends and speak lengthy chats or conversations about him? But, you know, to sing, no lies and over-exaggerating speeches, but joy and peace. God, you know, it is so hard not to talk about such an amazing soul. Where do I even begin, you know? Because I'm going to stand here before you and tell you about my amazing father. TJ, you know, he was a jovial man, and his love for pictures was what made him him, you know. There was never a Sabbath where angamcele athi kumina, how Mr. indaba ungangithathi isithombe ngimuhle kanje namhlanje. You know, he was that guy. literally calling you across the foyer. How? Miss T, you know? And sure, bemuhle, and he knew it. Babamkhulu bemuhle. And hence he just wanted, you know, that moment where he had those memories captured. Babamkhulu and I shared the same sentiment, which is I love the pictures. I absolutely love pictures and, you know, all those things that he liked. But he understood why some moments need to be captured, and in what better way than through a photograph. He shared some great captured moments with his friends and family. I can testify to this. Babamkhulu was very tech savvy, very tech savvy. I mean, he owned a Facebook account at his big age, you know, which was absolutely amazing, a bit far-fetched, but, you know, he was that guy. Ayithandela nje izinto babamkhulu wami. And anginandaba futhi ukuthi umuntu uzothini ngani kanjani. Like Mom Africa mentioned, that he was a thorny guy, very straight, very hard, but if you cannot take that as positive criticism, uzosho ukuthi mhlambe, you know, he's hurting your feelings, in which he was not, you know. He'd always say to Unjabula and Miss Pesihle, I mean, I'm in my house. Why on earth would you want me to put on shoes? You know, but he was that guy, very clean, very, you know, paid attention to detail, very focused, and, you know, he was that kind of person. Babamkhulu had this bright light about him that reached the masses. A very sociable character and very confident too. Dad's brother was everything and more. And you know, I just don't understand. I really don't understand how such a strong figure could have just fell to his death and left us all in so much pain and disbelief. I'm truly in shock. I just don't understand. Maybe some things we'll never get to understand. You know, from what we have been taught is when one falls, right? I mean, they quickly get up. But sadly, Babamkhulu fell and never woke up, or rather got up. Right now, so we have fallen. We are in pain and in shock and asking ourselves, what if? What if I had called on time? What if I had been there on time? You know? The brain is working magic, or rather wonders in your head, you know? All those analogies saying, what if I had called? What if I was there on Tuesday? What if? It never ends. I think the most painful thing to my family and I is that we keep asking ourselves this very question. What if we had been there just seconds or maybe hours before this tragedy that has befallen us? To lose umuntu omthanda. Kodwa in our fallen state, family and friends here at church and at home, God reminds us that with every storm, there's a calm. And when you do fall, He will make sure you get up. Lord, my prayer today is for us to keep the great memories we have shared with UTJ. May we keep them alive, keep the same energy he had for ministry. He was very enthusiastic about it even, you know. He was very strong on his beliefs and about the church and its mission. He was a warrior, fighting both spiritual and physical battles. He was driven by the statement, "Esithi, thus saith the Lord," with no flinch. When I think about it, he reminds me more of a Paul waseBhayibhelini. For he was about uNkulunkulu and the mission to preach and to teach. Great character traits of true leadership and true discipleship. Now, it is our turn to keep the same fire that he had alive, of course, in our own way, and to keep our heads up and to be positive about life, passionate about God, and let's live and love because he lived. And as his daughter, I'm grateful to have experienced such a force in my life. We all have our personal stories with Ubaba Mkhulu, and let those stories bring you peace. Like how we used to say, TJ Mtanam. Sengiyasho manje ngithi TJ, so we meet again. Thank you.
School. TJ, siyabonga. Ngane yami ngumama. Ubekhuluma ngawe, ungitshelile uma bekade graduate. Mabekade ngisesenti. Usidlo. Nibuya esikoleni. Ungixoxa. Akukho bekade singakhuluma besikusho konke. Ngiyabonga. Bandla, izikhulumo ezilandelayo manje zizokhuluma zilandelana, zihlale entweni, zingayibindi. Isikhulumo esizokhulumela i-district uBaba Mahluku. Uvamile ukuba mude, kodwa ngikhulumela izolo ukuthi abuye kanye. Bese kuba isikhulumo esizokhulumela i-IDC, Inter-District Committee. Namuhla isikhulumi sisuka eBloemfontein, uOpa Mofokeng. Bese kuba khona iqhawe uTawu kaMtawungu. Ngokulandelana kanjalo bafowethu, ngoba sinedili, sine-OSS lapha, sinemujapilo lapha, bazosihlabelelela sibe nenkonzo elulile yokuthoba amanqaku. Sizokudinga lokho kakhulu. Babu Mahluku, Babu Mofokeng, Babu Mtawungu, ngokulandelana kwenu kanjalo ukuze ningasavuni.
ke simolla kae. But we are here in memory of someone who's no more. We have chatted with him. We didn't know that today we'll be talking about the late Jiyana. Making me that team each time we chat. And you get devastated, you get confused, you seem to have fever, you seem to be insane to the thing that we're supposed to accept, which is unacceptable. We know as a church what death is death. But we know again that even if we know that we're gonna die, we don't know how. So now we are speaking about here a man who was principled. A man that if you were to convince him, you've got to know your facts. Or what are you talking about? He was born in Westland, and later on he moved in the Eastland, and during his death, he came back to District Westland. When he came back from Eastland, we know that he is going to add a value into this district in terms of music, in terms of prophecy. Because most of the Adventists these days, they don't understand anything about this church. But this is a man who understands Adventism. This is the man who understands the mission of this church. He was not just an ordinary man. I think last year towards the end, we were discussing the prophecy. You know, because the majority, as we take survey, what this church is all about. Then I said to him, you are back. We can make a day where we can sit down and write the history, the mission of Adventism. Because as you grew up, you must leave legacy. And he left legacy. Legacy of understanding Adventism. Sometimes you don't know